All right, all right. Hello, my name is Ray Salazar, and this is Morning Reel, a 3 to 4 to 100 minute or so, or actually in this case, 180 minute or so podcast of films that I review of all times, of all ethnicities, of all kinds of subjects. Today I review Oppenheimer. It's finally here. The time has come for people to watch and to talk about Oppenheimer. I saw it late. It's like 3:39 a.m. and man, what a film. What a great film about the making of the atomic bomb and the consequences of making and making sure that not only does it work, but that the United States wins World War II, which we all know the United States won World War II. Oppenheimer knew what kind of world he was going to live in after that, and the world that he's scared to be in, but at the same time embraces it because, after all, J. Robert Oppenheimer is a paradox of a human being. It takes a paradox of a man to even think of the possibilities of creating something big, bigger than ourselves, where once it's solved, once it's figured out, there's always somebody else who's going to just take over and just, spread it and just it's kind of like exactly what he thought. The fact that there's a chain reaction that cannot stop, much like technology. I mean, it's kind of crazy. This film's sort of a neo noir film, which is funny because a lot of Christopher Nolan's films are neo noir, going back to The Prestige, even going back to the film following his debut film, neo noir, where it's it's drama, there's a mystery, there's a crime, there's something being challenged, and at the same time, technology is a key factor in the storyline. And as we know, the atomic bomb is a key factor to the storyline and to history, right? Anyways, I'm going to keep this very, very, very brief. Oppenheimer is a 2023 epic biographical thriller film and also a neo-noir film written and directed by Christopher Nolan based on the 2005 biography American Prometheus by Kai Bird and Martin J. Sherwin. And it's about J. Robert Oppenheimer, a theoretical physicist who was pivotal in developing the first nuclear weapons as part of the Manhattan Project. Yeah, they put this man behind the Manhattan Project. Obviously, by putting a man like that in the Manhattan Project, you just open new doors for nuclear warfare. Produced by Emma Thomas, Charles Roven, and Christopher Nolan, starring Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., what? Florence Pugh, Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett, dude, who would have thought Josh Hartnett would be in a Christopher Nolan film? It's been a while since that man has been acting on a scale like this, and I gotta give it. Just let me finish this cast. Casey Affleck, Rami Malek, Kenneth Branagh, and it's not listed here, but let's not forget Gary Oldman, who had a small role playing President Truman. We also got Josh Peck, dude, who did like a very small role, who had a couple of lines and a couple of action in his role. But man, it's worth being mentioned. Cinematography by Hoyt van Hoytema, edited by Jennifer Lame, music by Ludwig Göransson. Crazy, because I thought it was going to be Hans Zimmer, but man, the music is just beautiful. Anyways, production companies, obviously, Syncopy Inc. and Atlas Entertainment, distributed by Universal Pictures. Dun dun dun. This is a 3-hour film. Watching 3 hours of this film in particular is a challenge. There is a lot of information being thrown. This film is almost like a History Channel film, but very interactive in visual and audio form. This film has an amazing cast. All kinds of people in this film. People that we've seen before, people that we haven't seen much, some people that we've seen in previous Christopher Nolan films that had very small roles, very minor supporting roles. Given this screenplay, shed some light onto their artistry and how their characters play in the storyline. And it's crazy, man. A lot of these characters, even though they're minor characters, play just a huge role in the film in itself. It's crazy. Christopher Nolan wrote a film where, much like creating the atomic bomb, took very, very serious measure that puts national security at risk. And this film goes in lots of directions, and it's not a simple film either. I mean, yeah, it's a biographical film. We know all kinds of things about Oppenheimer, his involvement in the process of the atomic bomb, from practically the thought that he had, which gave him just sleepless nights, to the point where he's facing backlash and criticism and questioning his loyalty. Like, it's crazy, man. You gave a doctor a job, probably the most important job to ever give to a man, coming from the United States, especially during heavy World War II action. Something needed to be happen, and he chose this man. And you still gotta question his loyalty. You still gotta question the fact that this guy's a communist, whether he was or wasn't, and whether he had so much interest in the theology of it. This guy made a bomb for the USA to win. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But that's what's kind of great about the script, and how the visual and the audio adds so much weight to this script. I mean, even the sound alone. If you look at this film visually speaking, it could almost carry itself alone. But man, the sound design, from the music to just hearing a person breathing in some parts of the film, you can tell that Christopher Nolan did a really good job as far as keeping the viewer engaged. Not only that, making sure that what we're looking at is just as natural as the eye can see, especially at the fact that Cillian Murphy playing Oppenheimer, you see a man he can never have peace, and not only that, he's dealing with all kinds of people, he's dealing with all kinds of mathematics, all kinds of theories where one false number or thought, either you got nothing or you completely destroy humanity. And if we're talking like 40s, 30s, I think late 40s, if anything, man, like, imagine just being a man who's very intelligent, and some will say brilliant, and some will say thinking far ahead, like very far ahead. I mean, this guy not only gave it so much thought as to, you know what, we can make a giant bomb, but not only that, once we make this bomb, everything is changed. Everything. Because now we have the capabilities to do much more than just what we've already are expected to accomplish. And I love what Nolan does, how he adds the weight of this character, not only from like politics and politics from his peers, not only even science, but like his personal life, man. I mean, this guy has not had good luck with the women, as you can see in the film. And the women in this film too are very strong characters. Even like Emily Blunt, like, man, like, no matter what, this woman's a ride or die. Trusted this man with everything. She put everything on this man. And she herself questioned his own loyalty, not only to her, but like the dynamic of a family. It's crazy how the subject of loyalty plays in this film. You got Matt Damon playing the general who he is not sure whether to trust this man, putting all this to one man, but he did it either way. Same thing with Oppenheimer's character, Oppenheimer. Should he trust the government? Should he trust the general? Should he expect, equal representation? Should he expect no backlash? And by giving all his trust, maintaining his loyalty to not only to the government, but to just like the people around him who obviously like praise this man because this guy is in fact like a genius. And you can kind of see where the loyalty finally gives him the results needed. And it's crazy how this film goes into these twists and turns from like feeling and trying to understand Oppenheimer's psyche, and at the same time looking at the politics of these things. They were trying to pin Oppenheimer, crucify him, making him a full-blown communist and a spy, despite the fact that this guy was like totally transparent. Whether he was being watched or not is an exercise of definitely writing and how things like that affect the story, because we go back and forth and sometimes it's kind of hard to keep up. And like I said, this is a very like it's not trying to be an like this film sort of reminds me of The Dark Knight, where like this film, The Dark Knight, is a comic book film without trying to be a comic book film. Oppenheimer, the film, is not trying to be a biographical film, even though it is. And we get to see the facts, even though the facts are a little distorted. They go back and forth, but the facts are there. The truth is there. Even the truth, even the context of truth plays a big part in the film. I enjoy this film so much. Is it film of the year? I don't know, man. I haven't seen Barbie yet. I want to see Barbie. Not that this film plays a lot with Barbie, nor Barbie plays a lot with Oppenheimer, but this film is about wielding power, and whether you're afraid or not, it's there. It's there in your hands, and you have the power. And once you know that, there's kind of like no going back. And there's a lot of that in the film where there's no going back. Not that it's being said, literally, but there is no going back. These guys mathematically knew that they have a bomb in their hands. They have something powerful that honestly changed the course of time, the course of the nation, the course of the world. Because, I mean, look at what we got now. Look at what certain parts of the world have. And it's funny because this film was trying to spill all that out without even trying to like mention other superpowers besides like Russia, Germany, or defeated Germany, and Japan. It's determination, whether you like it or not. I gotta give this film 4 out of 4 tokes. I would suggest you watch this film. It's a very engaging film. It really puts you on the edge of your seat, especially the music and the sound design. I mean, Nolan knows when to just keep the audience engaged. Nolan knows when to surprise the audience, and there's a lot of surprise in this film. I like how he can play with the sound and the visuals. Keep it coming, Nolan. Try to watch it in 70mm film. I saw it on digital. I'm not going to go into it as to why I saw it in digital. I bought tickets for 70mm and I ended up seeing digital. Definitely trying to get my refund back. Either way, I saw the film. Looking at it from a digital perspective, like looking at it digitally, man, I'm pretty sure looking at it at IMAX 70mm is just more than the treat. It's a very important film because it teaches us and informs us about how important it is to have power and how responsible we need to be with it. We need to be very careful with what we have. Sometimes we don't we don't know what we got, and it's almost impossible to try to wield it all the time. Near zero is not zero. My name is Ray Salazar. Follow me on Morning Shot Films, IG and YouTube. Check out my website, morningshotfilms.co. After this film, I will be putting out the film Past Lives. Rate and review this episode, this podcast. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Am I crazy? Is there more need to be said? Did I leave things out? I don't know, man. Watching a 3-hour film, trying to keep up with it, especially with the dialogue, which they assume you understand every word that they're saying. And sometimes you just gotta sit back and let it just wash over you. Let it explode onto you, just like the film did. Thank you.